Hello everyone, I'm Max, and today I'm here to maximize your fear. Here is the best Bigfoot footage from every single state in the US. So I took it upon myself to scour the internet and put together this special state-by-state Bigfoot video for you guys. And this is only part 1, so if you want to see part 2, leave a like and let me know in the comments. So today we'll take a look at only the clearest and most convincing Bigfoot sightings from each state in the US. And I really took my time to find the best footage, and some of it is exclusive footage that you've never seen before. We'll do a deep dive on each piece of evidence. I'll analyze the footage and give as much background information as I can find, and together we'll decide if they're real or fake. These sightings range from HD Sasquatch trail camera videos to Bigfoot hunting clips and so much more. So grab your I Found Bigfoot coffee mugs and allow your fear to be maximized as we explore the best Bigfoot clips from every state. Number 1. Alaska. Alaska has some pretty rich Bigfoot history, as well as some amazing videographic evidence. The best sighting that comes from the region is called the Ketchikan Bigfoot footage. Hence the name. It took place in Ketchikan, Alaska, a small coastal town in southeast Alaska, known for its temperate rainforests, steep mountains, and logging areas. The footage first appeared on YouTube in May 2011 by a user named Patua76. The man begins recording because he spots what looks to be a Sasquatch, and he catches really good video of it.
Oh, there it is again. There it is. There it is. Oh my God. There it is. There it is. It's right behind that tree.
At first, we slightly see it moving quickly through some very thick foliage. He keeps his cool and continues tracking the creature with his camera. And then he catches a better glimpse of it here. The creature itself looks super real, and his terrified reaction seems very genuine. But the footage gets even scarier as he catches a glimpse of its face, and it's staring at him.
I have no idea where I went. My heart's pounding a million miles an hour. I saw it down by the creek.
We see what looks like a very dark face, a Bigfoot-like face, trying to blend in with the thick vegetation. But he briefly catches it, then he runs away terrified. The video was labeled simply as Bigfoot in Ketchikan and had no polished backstory. Just raw, shaky footage. That rough authenticity is part of what made it go viral among cryptid enthusiasts. The Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization, or BFRO, which tracks sightings, noted that this was one of the first notable Bigfoot encounters reported in the Ketchikan area. Most Alaska sightings before then came from more inland and northern regions. Because Ketchikan is surrounded by nearly impenetrable forest and only reachable by boat or plane, the location added a sense of plausibility. Believers also argue that the proportions of the figure, tall, bulky, long stride, don't match a person in a costume. So it seems this footage definitely could be legit. And it's for sure the most widely known, and it's some of the best Bigfoot footage ever to come from Alaska. Number 2. Alabama. Back in April of 2022, some photos emerged of what looked like a Bigfoot walking through and wandering through the forest near Wilmer, Alabama, which is located out in Mobile County. The pictures showed a big, dark, human-like figure among the trees, and the post spread like wildfire on Facebook and Reddit. People were saying the Mobile County Sheriff's Office had confirmed the photos were real, and even that the TV show Finding Bigfoot was sending a crew to investigate. For a short while, it was one of the most viral Bigfoot stories Alabama had ever seen. News stations and websites eventually picked up and ran with it, treating it as if it might be a legitimate sighting. However, it eventually came out that the photos were allegedly part of an April Fool's joke cooked up by a local man named Kenny Walker. But some people still believe regardless. So, while the Wilmer Bigfoot pictures are probably the most popular and widely recognized Bigfoot claim from Alabama, they're also said to be a hoax, but hey, we don't know for sure. But because of this, just to be sure, here is the second best evidence I could find from Alabama. We hear strange howls coming from the woods near a rural property, somewhere in Alabama. Now, since we only have audio evidence, this one is unconfirmed. Alabama honestly doesn't have the greatest Bigfoot evidence. However, locals said the creature howling in the video is something called the Flat Rock Booger. In Alabama and other parts of the South, booger is an old word for a scary creature, kind of like the boogeyman. The Flat Rock Booger is usually described as a large, hairy, man-like beast that lurks in the woods, especially at night. Nearly every rural county has its own booger or wild man, but the Flat Rock version is the best known, and it is often compared to Bigfoot. Researchers who collect southern Bigfoot tales treat it as local folklore that overlaps with modern Sasquatch sightings. So these are the two most widely known and best Bigfoot sightings I could find from Alabama. But let's go ahead and take a look at some much better evidence. Number 3, Arkansas. Now there are two pieces of video that stand out from this region, so I guess I gotta go ahead and show both. Here's the first one. This up-close and terrifying Bigfoot encounter was reportedly taken by campers at Shady Lake in Ouachita National Forest, located in Arkansas. The quick video shows a towering, dark, bipedal humanoid skulking through the woods. Even though it was right beside the campers, it was retreating. It seems it didn't want to harm the campers, despite its terrifying look. It just wanted to get away and stay hidden. Now the other video is rather quick, but because of how close up it is, it's super compelling, and so many people believe it's legit. This being said, here is the second piece of evidence. It comes from Mena, Arkansas, and it was posted in mid-2023. Reportedly, the witness was swinging near the edge of the forest within a campground when he heard these Bigfoot-like howls. So he pulled out his camera and ventured further into the woods to investigate. This honestly might be some of the best audio evidence of all time. You may have even heard it before. Professional sound analysts even took a look at the footage and determined whatever was making the noises wasn't anything we know of. Experts stated that the vocal range fluctuated from too high to too low, something that a human or an animal on this earth couldn't produce. They said it's a complete anomaly. So far I would say Arkansas has some of the best Sasquatch evidence. However, this next region is arguably the most Bigfoot famous of them all. Number 4, Arizona. Known for a mix of natural wonders, desert landscapes, culture, and history, Arizona is a pretty vast place. From the Grand Canyon to the Painted Desert and Petrified Forest, it's filled with crazy landmarks too. But as you may know, along with a remote and rugged environment come many unknown creature sightings, and Arizona is no stranger to these kinds of encounters. In this segment, I will show you a few captures coming from Arizona along with their backstories. This first capture was released on September 25th, 2024. It comes from a man named Nick, who was near Saley Lake on the Navajo Nation reservation. Here is his photo along with his explanation. He states, "I saw this creature on August 12th, 2024 around 6:30 a.m. I was there fishing, specifically at a place called The Point on the northeast side of the lake. I was casting out, just fishing, minding my own business and looking around the lake at the beautiful nature. This is when something moved and I noticed it out of my left peripheral. I stood up and saw it. It was a creature with reddish hair and a round-shaped head. I snapped photos and tried to stand as still as I possibly could." He also stated that the creature was approximately 250 yards away from him, so he had to zoom in a considerable distance for this capture. He states that as he watched the creature, it walked down towards the shore of Lake Saley on the opposite side of where he was fishing. Then the creature stopped in some bushes on its way down. Nick says he was the only one at the lake this day, well, aside from the Sasquatch, that is. Nick states the creature sat in the bushes, then turned around and made its way back up from where it came from. He says he thinks it saw him because he was in plain sight and he believes that's why it retreated. Nick recalls, the way it walked was non-human. It had elongated strides and made no sound, and it moved quickly and effortlessly. He estimates it was about 7 feet tall, judging by the fence posts seen around it. Those posts are used to keep cattle and horses in the field, and they're rather tall. So there's the first Arizona Bigfoot sighting. Let's touch on the second one. This one comes from northeast Arizona on the Navajo Nation, and as you can see, it shares a similar color to the Bigfoot in the last capture. This one is captured closer up though. It has defined back muscles and fur, and it has the classic Bigfoot dome-shaped head. And we can also tell it's rather tall. Along with these two captures, some supposed Bigfoot tracks were also reported to be found in northeast of Saley Lake, specifically just across the New Mexico border near Shiprock. The prints were along the San Juan River. So lots of activity is coming out of the Arizona region recently, and these ones here seem pretty legit. Legit enough to shock Arizona locals, and not only the locals, but the whole entire world. Number 5, California. And if you're a huge Bigfoot fan, you probably know exactly where this one is going. The Patterson-Gimlin film is the most famous and controversial piece of Bigfoot evidence ever. Let me go ahead and give you the full breakdown, including background, what the film shows, aftermath, and the debates. It all went down on October 20th, 1967 in Bluff Creek, California, a remote forested canyon in Humboldt County, long rumored to be a Bigfoot hotspot. The people involved were Roger Patterson, a rodeo cowboy, author, and amateur filmmaker, and Bob Gimlin, his friend and fellow cowboy, who accompanied him as backup. Patterson had a long interest in Bigfoot and was working on a documentary. The two men were riding horses through Bluff Creek to search for evidence after reports of tracks in this area. This is when the infamous sighting happened. It's about 59 seconds of shaky, handheld, 16mm footage. We see a large, hair-covered, bipedal figure striding away from the camera along a creek bed. The figure appears to be female, with visible breasts and a muscular build. At one point, it turns its head and looks directly towards the camera, the most iconic moment of the clip. The estimated height was approximately 7 feet, though later analysis varies between 6'6" and 7'4". The creature has broad shoulders, long arms, a conical head, and bulky legs. It walks with a smooth, long stride, with swinging arms, unlike a typical human walk. The film was quickly developed and shown to scientists, journalists, and TV audiences. Patterson strongly believed he had captured genuine footage of Bigfoot. However, Gimlin was more cautious, but over the decades he has stood by Patterson, maintaining he saw what was filmed. The film became the cornerstone of modern Bigfoot research, sparking massive media attention and countless investigations. Supporters argue the creature's proportions, muscle movement, and gait are unlike any known human or costume from the 1960s. Anatomists like Dr. Grover Krantz and anthropologists like Dr. Jeff Meldrum have pointed to details such as calf muscle flexion and arm length as evidence it's not a suit. Also, costume experts argue that 1967 special effects technology could not easily produce the naturalistic muscle movement visible in the film. Nowadays, the film has been digitalized and stabilized, allowing clear views of the gait, muscle movement, and proportions. But even after decades of frame-by-frame study, there's no consensus. However, it remains the most famous and most influential piece of Bigfoot evidence ever. Nearly every modern Bigfoot investigation references it as a benchmark, and to this day it divides skeptics and believers. Some see a groundbreaking cryptozoological discovery, others see the most famous hoax in American folklore. Number 6. Colorado. A married couple, Stetson and Shannon Parker, were on a romantic getaway in Colorado celebrating their 10-year anniversary. They were on a train located between Silverton and Durango, two cities in southwestern Colorado, when they looked out and spotted this.
It's an elusive creature. Alright, just squat it down. Here, let me see your camera, I'll do it.
They saw a strange Sasquatch-like creature sneaking through the nearby brush. So the husband got out his phone and took that video. Shannon writes in her Facebook post, "As we're slowly passing by the mountains, Stetson sees something moving and then says, 'I think it's Bigfoot.'" The couple and most online viewers believe this really was the elusive Bigfoot. I mean, it looks just like what Bigfoot is said to look like, and it's even attempting to hide and blend in with the surrounding brush, not wanting to be seen by the public. Skeptics say it could just simply be a man in a costume, because judging by the video, it looks to be a similar size of a human. But the couple and other people who witnessed it in real time concur. They say they think it was about 7 feet or taller, which is a lot taller than the average human. Shannon was later interviewed by the New York Post where she said, "If you asked us before our trip, we could have said maybe Bigfoot is real, but now we are convinced." Shannon also snapped a few photos of the being as they drove by as well. I find this particular encounter very interesting because of the amount of substantial evidence. It definitely leaves you and I with very many unanswered questions. Number 7. Connecticut. Now, Bigfoot sightings in Connecticut are rather rare. Connecticut is a small state with forests, rivers, hills, and a mix of cities and quiet countryside, giving it a lot of natural beauty, but the South is more flat and urban. Being a smaller state and all, Bigfoot sightings are more scarce. But there still are quite a few famous sightings, however, none of them really come with any videographic or photographic evidence. But one of the most famous clips comes from the show Finding Bigfoot on Animal Planet. In this episode, back in 2013, the Finding Bigfoot team is investigating the region of Connecticut. And they even come in contact with a man who had a supposed Bigfoot encounter on his rural property. They interview him, and he tells the story.
I
went in, put my food down. I look out my kitchen window, and a guy was staring at my porch. It's nothing I never seen before. It seemed like forever, but maybe 5 or 10 seconds go, and he just turned away and went that way. To be looking at me eye level from here startled me. It did, man.
He recalls seeing a giant Sasquatch-like creature watching him while he was grilling. He believes it was a Bigfoot that was interested in his food. He continues on, talking about the terrifying size and the overall look of the creature. Another piece of evidence coming from Connecticut occurred in the early hours of October 17, 2023. A resident in Monroe, Connecticut, reported hearing unusual sounds emanating from a nearby forest. The vocalizations consisted of short, sharp screams followed by longer, drawn-out whoops, continuing for approximately 5 to 10 minutes. The witness noted that the sounds were powerful and carried over a distance, estimating the source to be at least 1.25 miles away. The pattern of the vocalizations, about 10 seconds of sound followed by a pause, was repeated several times. Interestingly, local dogs began barking in unison when the sounds ceased. And owls typically active in the area fell silent during the event. Now there's allegedly audio evidence of this, but no matter how much I dug to try to find it, I couldn't. The Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization investigated the sighting and determined it was a Class B sighting, indicating that it was credible but lacked direct videographic and photographic evidence, because it was just the audio. BFRO founder Matt Moneymaker also determined that the distinctive sound did not match any known local animals in the area, and also that the area did have a history of Sasquatch sightings. So he and many others believe these were true Sasquatch encounters. Number 8. Florida. Florida has its own version of Bigfoot, called the skunk ape, named for the strong, unpleasant odor that witnesses typically reported. It's described as a large, hairy, bipedal creature, typically 6 to 7 feet tall. It's covered in reddish-brown hair and it has long arms that swing when it walks. Sightings are mostly in swamps, forests, and rural areas. Now there are 2 sightings of this skunk ape that come from Florida that are the best. The Myakka skunk ape photos taken in 2000, and the Lettuce Lake Park video of 2015. For the photos, it all went down near Myakka River State Park, Sarasota County, Florida, hence the name. The story goes like this. A woman claimed to see a large, hairy creature near her home and took several photos of it. Several very up-close and clear photos, especially for the time, since it was back in 2000, when cameras were not even close to as good as they are now. But the images show a tall, upright figure standing in a wooded area. It has a reddish-brown coat and a human-like shape. These photos quickly became famous among cryptid enthusiasts. Though skeptics argue about possible hoaxing, many researchers consider the photos to be one of the best visual pieces of evidence for the skunk ape in Florida. This all being said, here is the videographic evidence for the skunk ape. Matthew McCamey was exploring the swamps when he filmed a figure moving through the trees. At first it looked like a bear, but the figure's upright walking posture and arm movement didn't match with any known animals. Some investigators, including former law enforcement, have said the video shows something unusual, though it's not completely definitive proof. Skeptics suggest it could have been a person or an animal in low light. I don't know though, it looks pretty real. So let me know what you guys think, and let me know which state was your favorite today. And also let me know if you're from any of these states. Alright, I think it's going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did enjoy, go ahead and smash the like buttons, mom. Let's aim for 2,000 likes and I'll go ahead and put out part 2. And if you want to get to know me more, you want to see more of my spooky content, you can go ahead and follow me on Instagram, Maxwell Fear, or you can go ahead and follow me on TikTok, Maximum Fear YT. And be sure to subscribe to the channel, because only 30% of you guys who watch my videos are subscribed. And be sure to hit that bell as well so you don't miss when I upload. And also feel free to check out my special Maximum Fear merchandise and coffee mugs. They're in the description down below. And shout out to my second channel, More Maximum Fear, where I post other scary content that you guys would definitely love. Alright, I hope your fear was maximized. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.